in order to hold a grandson. My father actually told me to go and trick someone. I never imagined my first mark would be such a prominent figure. The legendary General Qin, after being missing for 3 whole months, actually returned completely unscathed. When others asked where he had been, he refused to utter a single word. He maintained a cold expression, ignoring everyone, until the emperor, whom he respected most, questioned him. Only then did he confess everything. He had been tricked. Tricked for what? Tricked for his seed. 3 years later, General Qin was tricked again. A few more years passed, and General Qin was tricked once more. General Qin was gnashing his teeth in fury. I'm thinking that one day, I'll collect it all back with interest. There's a small villa nestled at the foot of the mountain. I was lounging with my legs crossed, leisurely snacking on flour cakes, while admiring the scenery outside the pavilion. Hey Yuan, you'll be 18 after the new year. If you keep delaying any longer, you'll be an old maid in the blink of an eye. I'm asking you one last time. Will you take a husband into our home, or marry out? Neither isn't an option. You must choose one. There's no room for refusal. Seeing I wouldn't choose, father was both angry and helpless. He paced back and forth within the pavilion. We've been here for 2 months. And the matchmakers for miles around have worn their shoes thin. You look down on this one. And that one isn't to your taste. What on earth are you looking for? A god from the heavens? A dragon prince from the sea? You're truly the death of me. Let me ask you this. Why must I marry at all? I've traveled the world with you since I was 3. I could work an abacus with both hands by 5. By 8, I was earning more than you. And now, I've saved hundreds of thousands of silver in various banks. It's enough to live a comfortable life forever. Why would I need to rely on a man? Father was stunned for a long moment. Then he sputtered, but you're my only daughter. Darling, we need you to carry on the Shin family bloodline. Is that all? Don't worry, leave it to me. As long as you stop nagging me, I'll definitely bear you several grandchildren within 10 years. You, look at you. The things you dare to say out loud. You don't have a shred of girlish modesty. I truly regret raising you like a boy since you were small. Who are you going to have them with? Could it be you already have someone in mind? Who? A god from the heavens? If that's too far, then I'll pick a dragon prince from the water. Father rolled his eyes in frustration and stormed off, flicking his sleeves. I stood up gracefully, straightening my long robe, and was about to head to the accounting room when suddenly, a flash of dazzling white upstream caught my eye. In the crystal-clear river water, a young man in white was clinging to a piece of driftwood. His eyes were tightly shut, his face deathly pale from the icy water. Well, look at that. A dragon prince actually showed up. Someone, help. A man has fallen into the water. Quickly, save him. That evening, as I was working the abacus in the accounting room, I heard my maids, Chun Chao and Xia He, giggling at the door. What are you laughing at? Master, the young gentleman you rescued today is incredibly handsome. Master, you already look heroic in men's clothes. But compared to his bearing and features, he's practically every woman's dream lover. You're so hopeless. But when I saw him lying unconscious, this exceptionally handsome youth, I turned out to be even more hopeless than they were. I stared at him for a long, long time. What did the doctor say? Don't worry, master. The doctor said he didn't drown. He fell from a height and injured his head, which is why he's unconscious. After 2 days of rest, he'll be fine once he wakes up. I couldn't tear my gaze away for the longest time. I asked, is there any ID, a tag, or a name card? Xiaoxi pointed at the youth's firm, slender waist, at a small, crystal-clear jade pendant. There was nothing else. I finally managed to shift my gaze to the pendant. Seeing its unique luster and excellent quality, I suspected his background was anything but ordinary. On the 3rd day, the handsome young man woke up. He was deeply grateful to me, his savior. I am Qin Shu, a resident of the capital. He bowed to me with an air of noble distinction. I introduced myself as Shani, 17 years old, from the Jiangxi region. He said he was out traveling for study and got separated from his companions. He intended to take a wooden boat south along the waterway, but unfamiliar with the terrain, he fell off a cliff at the mouth of a waterfall. In a daze, he grabbed a piece of driftwood and lost consciousness. I invited him to stay at the villa to recover. I played chess and chatted with him, painted and recited poetry together. We quickly became close friends who could talk about anything. Then, father arrived, followed by a massive swarm of matchmakers. I sighed, rubbing my forehead. Father smiled apologetically and kept explaining, my darling daughter, I'll listen to you. I won't force you into any misery, nor will I force you to marry out. I've asked them to find you the most handsome man possible. As long as you can conceive a child, I'll give him 100 taels of gold, and let him go on his way afterwards. The matchmakers swarmed around me, chirping incessantly. The noise made my eardrums throb. I tossed out a dozen gold beans, and the surroundings finally went quiet. Father thought I was just humoring him again, so he resorted to the old cry, make a scene, and threatened to hang himself routine. I watched as his 200-pound frame crushed 2 stools before he shuffled to the large round table, insisting on hanging himself. I felt my temples throbbing. Father, I already have a suitable candidate in mind. Father immediately scrambled off to see Qin Shu. He pulled the man into an enthusiastic conversation, nearly questioning him about 18 generations of his ancestors. Though Qin Shu was completely baffled, he still answered every question politely. That night, father came running back excitedly. Darling daughter, that boy is excellent. He has a tall, upright build, and such handsome features. He's both scholarly and skilled in martial arts, and hasn't even taken a wife or concubine yet. Most importantly, his family is very fertile. He said he has several older brothers and sisters, all of whom have houses full of children. He'll certainly be just as capable. He's the one. He's the one. I was moved too, but also a little anxious. His nature is pure, and he's just a bit inexperienced in the world. It's not that he lacks ability, it's just that he's a man of strong principles. If his family values bloodline inheritance and refuses to let the child belong to the Shin family, what should I do? I was tempted beyond measure, but when I thought of Qin Shu's eyes, as clear as a deer's, I couldn't help but hesitate. That night, my dreams were filled with Qin Shu's tall and upright silhouette. Early next morning, Chen Chao hurried in. Master, young Master Qin is here to say goodbye. He said he's leaving tomorrow to find his friends. A strange bitterness filled my heart. That evening, I prepared a lavish feast to see him off. Qin Shu's gaze was deep as he looked at me and said. He was very reluctant to part ways. If you're so reluctant, why must you go? Qin Shu took the gold and silver-flecked jade pendant from his waist and gave it to me. He told me that if I ever traveled north for business, I must go to the capital to find him. Where would I find you? At the general's mansion. I am a second-class guard in the mansion, and I grew up there since I was a child. Everyone there knows me. In the future, just say you're looking for little Qin, and someone will lead you to me. Life is short. I only care for the present. I'm not afraid of the future. So, let's drink while there's wine today. Brother Qin, please. I hardened my heart and brought out a bottle of 3 Days Dream that I had purchased from the Hu merchants. Brother Shen, I've heard this wine is quite unique. One drink, and you'll be blissfully drunk for 3 days and 3 nights. It really does have a rich, mellow aroma. I shook my head. I've never tried it. Just this one small bottle. Cost over 300 taels. Hey, don't drink it so fast. It truly is a rare find worth over 300 taels. Qin Shu was thoroughly intoxicated. He pulled me close and began humming the general's order. I gazed at his handsome face, just inches away, and with my heart racing, I leaned down and kissed him. He seemed to know what to do instinctively, quickly turning from passive to active, until things spiraled out of control. Over those 3 days, he was sometimes awake, sometimes hazy with wine, but he never once let me go. Ayue, why are you tricking me? I was exhausted and drowsy. I said crossly, I'm after your seed. Tricking you into making a baby. He understood. By the evening of the 3rd day, father, who had already packed everything, was waiting at the ferry with the servants. I left a stack of banknotes and the villa's deed beside Qin Shu, then decisively boarded the ship and sailed away. The journey of an overseas merchant is long, fraught with both danger and boredom, but father and I were used to heading south along the river. Straight toward the port, heading south all the way. It took over a month to reach the land of Malay. As soon as we landed, father dragged me across the city to find the best clinic. After some communication, father hurriedly let the foreign doctor check my pulse, constantly gesturing toward my abdomen. Old master, he, unable to watch any longer, whispered, Miss is definitely pregnant. Why won't you believe it? Father chuckled with delight. It's better to let a proper doctor see. Just to make sure there are no mistakes, the old doctor asked a few questions. I replied in fluent local dialect. Then, the old doctor stroked his beard and smiled, nodding repeatedly to father. Oh. Father was so excited he started dancing with joy, immediately bowing to the heavens over and over again. The Shin family finally has an heir. My darling daughter, you're going to be a mother. And I'm going to be a grandfather. Haha. Master, you'll be the maternal grandfather. Who cares about that? As long as my darling daughter bears it, it belongs to the Shin family. It has nothing to do with that Qin boy. Who cares about maternal or not? Exactly, the child belongs to our family. My wish has finally been fulfilled. I have the child, and I've compensated brother Qin. From now on, we part ways on good terms. I hope we never meet again. Time passed, and amidst the hustle and bustle, I gave birth to a chubby baby boy. I named him Shin Mu Qin. Father was laughing and crying all at once, his face covered in tears. He wouldn't let go of the baby. I, too, was filled with joy, but that joy vanished as soon as it arrived. The days of raising a child were so busy they nearly drove me to a breakdown. I simply left my son with father and Chen Chao, put on my men's clothes, and went back to making money. Poor Chen Chao and Xia He, not yet mothers themselves, they began the arduous life of taking care of a child. I acted like I couldn't stand him, but after being away for less than 2 days, I began to miss that chubby little fellow. I hurriedly finished my business and rushed back. 1 year later, the 50-plus shiploads of goods from the mainland were all sold. We made a fortune. I rested lazily for over half a year. Seeing my son could already speak several local languages, I finally began slowly preparing goods to return home. Mother, why don't I have a father? He died. He sacrificed himself for his country. He passed away in his prime. He was a magnificent hero. In the future, you must be proud of him, and carry that pride with you. What was my father's name? I was momentarily speechless. Mother, did you forget father's name? What did he look like? Haha, it's been so long. I can't quite remember at the moment. My son gave a disappointed sigh and turned to ask Xiaohe. He was a gentleman and extremely handsome. When you grow up, just look in the mirror, and you'll see what he looked like. After traveling at sea for 2 months, dozens of large ships finally docked safely. Father and my son had been cooped up for far too long. They dumped all the chores on me and went shopping, happily holding my chubby son's hand. Master. Before I had even disembarked, the head manager in charge of our business along the route came running down in a panic. Master, did you receive the messages I sent via carrier pigeon? We passed many islands on this route, and the terrain is messy. I haven't received a single letter. When the head manager heard this, he nearly burst into tears. He was at a complete loss, frantic with worry. I knew it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have waited so long to return. Master, something terrible has happened. You're a wanted person. What did you say? The manager hurriedly explained. I don't know the reason why either. Ever since you went to sea, 3 months later, wanted posters were put up at every city gate. There's a reward of 100 gold taels for the capture of a young man named Shani. The portrait is 70 to 80% similar to you. I was completely bewildered. Confused, I said, I've never committed any crime abroad. Why a wanted poster? Do you know what crime Shani committed? Swindling and deception. Defrauding people of their money and their virtue. I always used my real name when traveling for business and pseudonyms for lodging. When did I ever defraud someone of their virtue? I was completely oblivious to all of this. Master, for safety's sake, you must never dress as a man again. And you can't use that name anymore. I was unwilling to accept this. Which government office issued the warrant for Shani? I'm being framed. Hire a lawyer with a heavy fee to clear my name. It's the imperial court. Master, our business has grown so large over the years. It's inevitable that we'd attract unwanted attention. If the court is displeased, our vast family business could vanish in an instant. Fine. I am a mother now anyway. It's not convenient to always present myself as a man. I've always been someone who can adapt to any situation. I agreed with a smile. So, I changed back into women's clothing, styled my hair as a married woman, and reclaimed my real name, Shenzi Yuan. Tropical goods from overseas were extremely rare inland. Rarity makes things valuable, so I transported most of the goods inland to sell to the wealthy families. I only kept 1 cart of pearls and a few carts of coral to be sent to the capital by a security bureau. The rest of the goods were sold out very quickly. While passing through the central plains, we encountered a severe drought where no crops could be harvested. The common people were displaced, fleeing from the famine everywhere. I took out 1,000 taels of silver and had the Luoqing manager hire a dozen women to distribute porridge every day until the drought eased. Afterward, I went to my villa on the outskirts of Luoqing to stay. I planned to leave for the capital in 2 days. Unexpectedly, at noon the next day, the villa manager came rushing in with a report. Master, a group of soldiers has suddenly arrived outside. The leader calls himself Lord Lu, the governor of Luoqing. He says the imperial court has sent General Qin to provide disaster relief. Having heard of your generous charity for the people, he has come specifically to pay his respects. I gave a faint reply, noticing the balcony nearby. I decided to head up the stairs. There weren't many of them, but each man was tall and strong, and their horses were magnificent. They wore the distinctive silver armor of the Imperial Guard. From a distance, they looked truly majestic, and at their head, the man sitting on that tall, snow-white horse instantly seized my attention. He had a tall, commanding figure, dressed in a sharp, dark outfit. His ink-black hair was tied up high. His entire aura was one of noble distinction. His face looked surprisingly familiar. At that moment, he seemed to sense my gaze, and elegantly turned his head toward me. In the next instant, I was so startled I nearly fell off the balcony railing. Miss. Behind me, Chen Chao quickly steadied me. She cried out in alarm, Master, what on earth are you doing? I sat down hurriedly, panic-stricken. I took several deep breaths. That man just now was actually my old flame. Could he be Lord Lu, the governor of Luoqing? Qin Shu. General Qin. I rubbed my forehead, breathing sharply. If that really is General Qin, I fear I really would have to jump off this balcony to escape today. Immediately, I hurriedly had Chen Chao bring 10,000 taels and banknotes to the steward. Go tell Lord Lu that I am a widow living in seclusion. And it's not convenient for me to meet strange men. Add that I've been traveling for months and am currently bedridden and unable to get up. I hope the 2 gentlemen can be understanding. Grateful for General Qin and Lord Lu's efforts for the disaster relief, my trading company wishes to donate 10,000 taels of silver as a modest contribution. We hope Luoqing will overcome its difficulties soon. The steward complied and hurried outside. A moment later, the sound of hoofbeats faded away. With a trembling voice, I asked, was that young man on the white horse General Qin? Though the steward was puzzled, he still nodded. Indeed it was. I saw Lord Lu bowing to him just now, calling him General Qin. Master, this General Qin is the Emperor's most trusted general. He has achieved great military feats, and his fame is known far and wide. Enough, that's plenty. I immediately cut him off and ordered, "Pack your bags at once. We're taking a shortcut to the capital. Quickly." The group hurriedly drove the carriages out of Luocheng. Upon arriving in the capital, I didn't dare delay for a second. Still dusty from the road, I rushed to the security bureau to retrieve the pearls and coral, along with 2 carts of rare treasures. I then spread the word that I was selling them immediately. To ensure a quick sale, I didn't hesitate to lower the price, attracting high officials, nobles, and merchants in an endless stream. I didn't dare show my face, only instructing the manager to profit where he could, or sell at cost just to clear the stock. The inventory had to be cleared within half a month. After 10 days of smooth sales, I told Chen Chao to have the maids pack our belongings and prepare a fast ship. We planned to head south along the canal early the next morning. Chen Chao agreed, saying, "Master, old master also ordered me, saying the capital has many novelties, and told me to pick some out to bring back for the little master." I worked the abacus without looking up. "Just go to the accounting office and get the silver." Chen Chao left and didn't return until noon, panting and carrying many large bags. A moment later, the guard at the door bowed and reported, "Master." When Miss Chen Chao returned to the city, she was being followed by 2 men in secret. Their behavior was extremely suspicious. I raised an eyebrow. "Did you send someone to tail them back?" "No word yet." I called for Chen Chao. "When you were out on the streets, did you encounter anyone suspicious?" "No," Chen Chao replied with an innocent look. "I just bought whatever I liked." Browsing through several different streets, I gave a shy smile and said to the general steward, "This humble woman is from the Jiangxi region. Young Master Qin and I were old acquaintances. My family suffered a tragedy, so I have traveled thousands of miles to pay him a visit." "I see." The head steward nodded and bowed politely. "Miss, please come inside and rest. The general has just returned to the city, but at this moment, he is in the palace. Young Master Qin will return to the mansion soon." A maid then brought out tea and snacks. I thanked her warmly. "Thank you for your trouble, sister." "Sister, could I have a cup of plain water instead? I'm not used to tea." Chen Chao gave me a strange look, but quickly lowered her head. The maid replied respectfully, turning to bring me some warm water. "Although I am not a peerless beauty, I am quite easy on the eyes. Having been wealthy and traveled the world since childhood, my features have a certain air of confidence and cheer, and my aura is bright and elegant." After a few compliments, the little maid was soon charmed by me. Between our bits of conversation, she revealed about 80% of the general's affairs. I heard that General Qin is still unmarried, with no wife or concubines, not even any bedmaids. I secretly felt a surge of joy for my son. "Your mother definitely didn't pick the wrong father." Just as I was secretly rejoicing, suddenly, rapid footsteps came from outside the door. Before I could see clearly who it was, I heard a furious shout, "Take him down!" Under the bright sunlight, a valiant man in battle robes strode in. His thick brows were furrowed, his handsome face was cold and grim, and his anger was overwhelming. The elegant youth from 3 years ago had long since transformed. His eyes had lost their sharpness and gained a steady calm, and his whole being radiated the lethal aura of the battlefield. My heart throbbed wildly. My son's father has actually grown even more handsome. Unexpectedly, several guards rushed in at his command, surrounding Chen Chao and me in an instant. I was startled, worried they were on to our next move. I quickly raised my hand, dipped it in the water cup, and wiped it on my face. "Aishu." The handsome man at the door suddenly stopped in his tracks. I looked at him with tearful eyes, my voice mournful. "I finally found you." "Qin Shu, no. I should call you General Qin." General Qin's deep gaze locked onto me. He shouted coldly, "Looking for me? I should be the one looking for you." What an explanation. I was sent overseas by my father. I spoke up first, fake crying while wiping the water on my face. "Father wouldn't allow me to come to the capital to find you." I pleaded with him in every way, but he always refused. I begged for over 2 years. If it hadn't been for the kind owner of the Chuanda Trading Company giving me a ride, I wouldn't have been able to return to the country until now. Seeing me weeping so pitifully, General Qin's brow furrowed even tighter. Upset and confused, he waved his hand. The guards all lowered their hands and respectfully withdrew. He stepped inside, but stopped 3 feet away from me. "Why did you disappear without a reason? Do you know that I searched for you near the villa for over 2 months?" His eyes were full of resentment, evidently hurt deeply by my actions back then. I sobbed aggrievedly when father saw my devotion to you, and that I had even given myself to you. He was furious. He originally wanted to recruit you into our house, but you said marriage must be decided by elders, and tactfully declined. Father was angry that I was disobedient, so he ordered men to tie me up and put me on a ship. We left the villa that very night, sailing south out to sea. The ocean was vast, and I had nowhere to run, nor any way to send a message. I only managed to return after meeting Boss Shen. "Father, for the sake of your chubby grandson, I'll have to trouble you to be the villain for a bit." General Qin's gaze turned sharp as he looked at Chen Chao. "I saw this girl on the street a few days ago. The place she returned to was indeed the trading company. You are staying there?" I nodded. Boss Shen is kind-hearted. He took pity on us, master and servant, and let us enter the city with the company's goods. He gave us a place to stay. General Qin looked at me with a complex expression. Hesitating to speak, I sniffled and said softly, Shu, it's my fault you've been searching all these years. I've traveled thousands of miles, finally fulfilling my promise back then, to come to the capital to find you. I only ask for your forgiveness, to be able to see you once more in this life. Yuan has no more regrets. After saying that, I gave him a deep bow. Seeing you well today, I am at peace. May your career be smooth, and your life be peaceful. I should take my leave now. General Qin was startled, and reached out his long arm to firmly grab my wrist. Where are you going again? My eyes were misty. After I returned to the country, I saw wanted posters at every city gate. I'll have them withdrawn immediately, he said urgently. When I couldn't find you back then, I was frantic, recalling your heartless words that day. I resorted to a wanted poster. Who knew the search would take 3 years? Without a shred of news. I never imagined you were kidnapped and taken overseas. I continued to wipe my tears outwardly, but inwardly I was criticizing him. People from the court are truly not to be offended. After one night together, he immediately set a worldwide manhunt for me. I clearly even left banknotes and property deeds. Chen Chao helped back me up from the side. Master Qin, my lady is definitely not a fickle person. Old master only has my lady as his daughter, and intended to recruit a son-in-law for her. Who knew my lady was so deeply in love with you? Old master kidnapped her in a fit of rage. For these 3 years, my lady has wept day and night, refusing to marry another, with only one wish, to come back and find you. Heartbroken, General Qin frowned, and reached out to pull me tightly into his embrace. It's good that you're back. Yuan, I finally found you. I secretly rolled my eyes. Clearly, I was the one who delivered myself to his doorstep. Chen Chao, knowing when to leave, retreated to a corner. General Qin held me for a long time before reluctantly letting go, tenderly smoothing my hair. Yuan, you must stay in the mansion with peace of mind. This is the residence of a high official. It's not convenient for a commoner woman like me to stay. Chen Chao and I will find another place. Yuan, you don't know. I am no longer a second-class guard, but have been promoted to a first-class guard. I have an independent courtyard in the mansion. Quiet and elegant. You will come back with me. Don't go, this is improper. Proper or not, we have long been as husband and wife. If you hadn't been forced away back then, I would have brought you to the capital long ago. We've already wasted 3 years for nothing. Why were those guards so aggressive just now? I finally heard you were here, and I was afraid you would run away again, so I sent men to stop you first. I gave a hollow laugh. If I hadn't reacted quickly and taken the initiative, at this moment, I would have already been tied up and thrown into a dungeon. Later, General Qin vigorously settled me in an elegant little courtyard, warmly telling me to stay and relax. But how could I be at peace? My heart was in turmoil. Is your hometown really in Jiangxia? Why did I send people to search for so long, without finding any record of you or your father? My heart tightened, but I said calmly, since my great-grandfather's time. My family has been doing business overseas year-round, and we long ago left our original registry. My identity papers were also kept by my father, so I don't have them with me. It's very inconvenient to go out. Don't worry. In 10 days or so, I will handle your capital registry and identity papers for you. I nodded with a smile. Reunited after a long time, the two of us still had endless things to talk about, and we got along harmoniously. He was no longer on duty, staying in the courtyard almost every day to be with me. During our time together, he poured out all the longing and frustration of the past 3 years. He said that those 3 days weren't entirely a dream to him. At many points, he had been lucid. He said when he learned I was a woman, he was both surprised and overjoyed. He also said he had already fallen for me back then. In these 3 years, he had traveled almost everywhere, going to Jiangxia alone more than 20 times. Initially, he thought I was just toyed with him, and was greedy for his selfishness, so he gnashed his teeth and issued the wanted order. I was amused by his behavior and gave a light laugh. My child's father was still too young back then. How could intuition ever be wrong? Seeing me laugh, he was both ashamed and annoyed, pressing me onto the couch for a long time. After a few days, I really couldn't stand his enthusiasm anymore, and urged him to go back to duty. He lingered and refused to leave, kissing the top of my head. I have already requested 3 months leave from the general to properly make up for the pain of missing you for 3 years. After another few days of intimacy, Chen Chao brought some chicken soup, and couldn't help but remind me, Miss, have you forgotten your original intention for coming to the capital? I haven't. I'm just finding a way to keep him steady. Chen Chao secretly rolled her eyes and whispered, I think you're the one being dazed by him. You've thrown the main business to the back of your mind. What day of the month is it today? It's already the 16th. The manager's stock is already sold out, and it's all been converted into gold bars and hidden as you ordered. I nodded with satisfaction. Master, we can't delay any longer. If General Qin finds out the truth, he won't let it go. It's not that I'm not leaving, I just can't get away. You just don't want to go. I gave an embarrassed smile. To be honest, I really was a bit reluctant to leave the father of my child. Suddenly, my heart tightened. Lately, we have had no restraints. I have always been healthy. And he is in his prime. I'm afraid I might be pregnant again. No, I must escape as soon as possible. That night, as I lay drowsy on his shoulder, he kissed my cheek and whispered, Yuan, I have already prepared your capital registry and papers. In these few days, I have also found a secure backing for you. When the Emperor and Empress return from their tour, I will enter the palace to request a decree to grant us marriage. Grant a marriage? Father of my child, isn't this warmth and reminiscing enough? Why make such a big deal out of it? But a strange warmth blossomed in my heart. Shu, I am just a girl from the mountains. While you are a first-class guard at the general's mansion, with a bright future, we are not of equal status. Perhaps I will have to wrong you for a while. Wait until you are pregnant with a child, then I will find a way to make you a concubine. That one sentence instantly extinguished all my reluctance and affection. I waited for 10 more days until news finally came of the emperor's return. General Qin immediately went to the court. Taking the chance, I, who had been pretending to be content, walked out of the courtyard. I walked around the general's mansion twice. No servants in the mansion stopped me. All were respectful and polite. I deliberately pestered the butler with endless questions, making his head spin. The maid and I want to go out and buy some personal items. Can we leave through the side gate? The butler said firmly, of course. The general ordered that men should be sent to protect you both. There's no need to trouble them. The butler didn't suspect anything and prepared a carriage, and also sent 4 armed guards to accompany us. We wandered through the city, eating and playing, buying things all along the way. The expenses were all charged to the general's mansion. We wandered for several hours until the sun began to set. Suddenly, someone on the street shouted excitedly, the emperor has bestowed a marriage. A marriage for General Qin. General's marriage. Double happiness for General Qin. The daughter of Master Liu and the daughter of Minister Luo will enter the mansion on consecutive days. General Qin will marry his main wife in 3 months. Listening from inside the carriage, my heart suddenly twitched. I rubbed my chest and then laughed at myself silently. What is there to hurt? This is just giving me an open and honest reason to leave. I then signaled to Chen Chao. A moment later, the guards and the coachman were all knocked out by sleeping incense. We had already taken the antidote. Within 15 minutes, my people arrived and safely took us away. Before it got dark, we successfully left the city. At the ferry in the suburbs, we boarded the merchant ship that was waiting. Miss, look. General Qin is chasing us. He brought so many people. I calmly walked out of the cabin and stood on the deck, watching him gallop toward us. I just gave a faint smile. In August, I waved my hand gently. He was frantic with rage, pulling the reins and shouting, "Get back here for this, General." Stop. General, there's no need for more words. Please go back. You actually dared to hide your identity from me. Your real name is Shinzi Yuan, isn't it? Get your ass back here. General, you've lied to me quite a bit too. We are even. Neither of us owes the other. My status as Shinzi Yuan is lowly. I am not a match for you. In the end, we are not fated. Before parting, I'll give you 2 honest words, even if I remain alone for life. I will never share my husband with others. Shinzi Yuan, come back. Yuan, come back. The other line is the same as last time. I was still just after your seed. And your body. Shinzi Yuan thanks the general. After saying farewell, I turned and walked straight into the inner cabin. The merchant ship didn't have many goods, so it sailed smoothly. Before dawn the next morning, I took my men and quietly got off the ship. The goods on the ship were either thrown overboard or deliberately destroyed. Then I splashed dog blood around to make it look like a pirate raid, where everyone was killed and thrown into the sea. After that, we took a carriage and slowly headed west. Father had received an urgent letter from the manager in the capital a few days ago. He had already packed our belongings, prepared several spacious carriages, and rushed over with my son. More than 10 days later, we successfully met in a small town on the western border. My chubby son threw himself toward me with joy. Chen Chao quickly stepped forward to pick him up. Little master, from today on, you must absolutely not bump into your mother, nor can you run or jump with her. My son's face was full of disappointment. Why? Father also looked puzzled. Yes, why? My dear daughter, your complexion is pale. You rushed here in such a panic. Didn't we agree to stay in the hometown for a few months? This long journey must have exhausted you. I just giggled. Father was even more baffled. He looked at Chen Chao. What is your master smiling about? Chen Chao replied happily, Old master. Miss is pregnant again. Calculating by the date, it's about 2 months. These past few days she's been sensitive to smells, often feels nauseous, and doesn't sleep well. That's why her complexion is bad. Oh my. Father froze for a moment, then slapped his thigh in excitement. Great. Good, good. I'm going to have another grandchild. No, this time it must be a granddaughter. A boy and a girl make the character for good. Hearing that there was a little sister in my belly, my son also danced with joy. I want a sister. I want a little sister. Unlike the first pregnancy, my morning sickness was severe this time. I often couldn't keep food down, and I felt dizzy and weak. Father immediately bought a large mansion nearby, so I could focus on the pregnancy. He also hired 2 chefs to specifically make the dishes I like. It wasn't until a few days later that he finally realized something. My dear daughter, whose child is this in your belly? I gave him a look. Who else could it be? Naturally, it's still the same one. I am very devoted. Father was dumbfounded. You, where did you two meet? In the capital. We just happened to meet in Huzhou. The old flame was rekindled. His family status in the capital is prominent. I didn't dare let him know about Ayuan, fearing I wouldn't be able to leave. I also hurried to the northwest, to hide far away. Father laughed out loud and gave me a thumbs up. Then have the baby. It's not like our family can't afford to raise it. Let Master Lian teach him, and father will help you take care of him. I looked at my sleeping son beside me, my eyes softening unconsciously. Father, the child is still young. I need to spend more time with him. This pregnancy isn't going very smoothly, so it's not convenient for me to travel for now. As for the goods for the trading companies in various places, we will leave them to the escort agency. It doesn't matter if we earn a bit less. Father looked a bit reluctant. Don't you still have this old man? Forget it, you're getting older and should rest. Our family has plenty of assets. If we use it sparingly, it's enough for a dozen lifetimes. Earning less for a while doesn't mean we won't earn at all. Father had to agree. You're right. The child is what's most important right now. I carefully calculated. The situation in the Northwest has been unstable recently. Countries aren't trading with each other, so there's not much history here. But the medicinal herbs here are high quality and cheap, and the price difference with the capital and this region is huge. There's a lot of profit to be made. We will collect more herbs and slowly transport them to the southeast coast for sale. Father nodded quickly. Good. With a new business, and using the excuse of nurturing the pregnancy, we completely settled down in the Northwest, far away from the troubles of the capital. Considering the unrest in the Northwest, I spent heavily to hire 5 powerful bodyguards. Word spread from 1 to 10, 10 to 100, and soon a guard team of several hundred people gathered around me. Since I've been traveling since childhood, I have a great talent for learning languages. My son looks like Qin Shu in every way, except for this point where he takes after me. I took him along the border, and in just a few months he could converse fluently with the locals. Half a year later, I opened a medicinal herb shop at the border, buying top-quality herbs from the mountains. Because the prices were fair and payments were prompt, our reputation spread. Business grew bigger and bigger. A month later, I safely gave birth to a baby girl. Her eyes and brows were identical to her brother's. Father and my son were overjoyed, but I was full of helplessness. It's one thing for the son to look like him, but even the daughter looks so much like him. Chen Chao comforted me. Miss, don't be sad. At worst, we'll have a few more later who look like you. I painfully turned over, my lower abdomen still aching. Chen Chao, you're very thoughtful. No need for comfort in the future. In the early summer season, the first batch of precious medicinal herbs under the protection of the guard team was transported to Jiangxia. The net profit was over 30,000 taels. The manager sent a message saying that if we transported them to the capital, we could earn 10,000 more taels. I had no greed for that, not wanting any further connection with the capital. The manager also said the waterways in the south were clear, and banditry was being eradicated, transporting the unique northern herbs to the south for sale. A guard originally from the south explained that since last year, the court has been vigorously fighting bandits. All the land and water bandits have been cleared out. I heard General Qin personally led the team. The people are all grateful, calling it an act for the public good and of infinite merit. I gave a faint smile and sincerely praised, General Qin really is a good general. My son began his early education, and my daughter began to waddle. While I raised the kids with peace of mind, I occasionally went into the mountains to buy rare herbs. Time passed, and in the blink of an eye, another year had gone by. One day, my son pointed at a mountain ravine and shouted for help, saying someone had fallen from the mountain. 5 guards went down to rescue him. A moment later, they brought up an old man with white hair. I had the accompanying doctor treat his bone injuries and ordered men to send him home. Months later, the old man suddenly visited and carefully took from his robe a crystal clear flower. Everyone around was shocked. Tianshan Snow Lotus, the legendary divine object. I heard it can bring the dead back to life. The elders say, someone once saw it save a person on the verge of death. The old man looked around warily and asked in a trembling voice, Boss Shen, can you give me a good price? How much do you want to sell it for? The old man said this item was originally priceless, but because I had saved his life, he was willing to part with it. He had lived in the mountains hunting for generations, and his expenses were not many. He didn't ask for much gold. "This item is too precious." I insisted on giving him a generous gift in return. The old man only gestured for 20 bags of rations, a few bags of jerky, and several bolts of cloth. I readily agreed. I added 10 extra bolts of cloth and ordered guards to escort him up the mountain. Word of this soon spread. More and more people came to gift rare medicinal herbs. The number of people seeking to buy the Tian Shan snow lotus was also endless. A few months later, a wealthy merchant from the capital arrived, travel-worn. He was willing to pay a high price for the snow lotus. I shook my head. "It's just a legend. It's unknown if it can truly save lives. I wonder what you intend to use it for." The old merchant sighed, saying he had almost gone astray in his youth. Thanks to the guidance of the current Grand Tutor Liu, the Grand Tutor had a daughter late in life, cherishing her like a pearl. A few years ago, the emperor issued an edict, betrothing this Miss Liu to General Qin as his primary wife. But General Qin, who had originally agreed, suddenly went back on his word for some reason. He entered the capital to apologize and request to cancel the engagement. Covered in blood, the Grand Tutor is proud. He immediately went to court to ask the emperor to rescind the edict. I listened intently. The old merchant continued. "General Qin then went south to fight bandits, and hasn't returned for 2 or 3 years. Poor Miss Liu was deeply devoted to him. She vowed not to marry anyone else, staying depressed all day. In recent months, she has become bedridden. No medicine seems to help. The Grand Tutor searched everywhere for a cure to no avail. I heard Boss Shen had this treasure, so I came from thousands of miles away, hoping to repay his kindness." I sighed softly. I didn't expect such a turn of events after I left back then. The old merchant pleaded. "I heard half a flower has miraculous effects. I wonder if Boss Shen can part with it. I am willing to pay 100,000 taels for half. Please help me." I told Chen Chao to bring the Tian Shan snow lotus. I personally cut off half. "Sir, send this by fast horse. I heard it works best if taken within half a month. As for its efficacy, I have only heard of it. I cannot guarantee anything." The old merchant thanked me repeatedly, and hurriedly ordered his subordinates to present the banknotes. I smiled and waved him off. "There's no need." The old merchant was puzzled, and felt uneasy. He asked, "Does Boss Shen have a request for the Grand Tutor?" "I will certainly pass it on. I'll make sure he remembers your kindness." I shook my head. "No need. General Qin and I are old acquaintances." The old merchant seemed to understand, yet not fully. He cupped his fists solemnly, offering 1,000 thanks. That night, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. The next day, I ordered people to secretly gather news about General Qin. Winter was approaching, and snow began to fall heavily. I sat on the heated brick bed, playing chess with my son, while watching my daughter cut paper patterns. Father was snoring nearby, sounding very content. Suddenly, a gust of cold wind blew in. "This is bad. The Northern D army has gathered near the border city." Father woke up with a start, trembling all over. Are we going to war?" I remained calm. I ordered all shops and the residence gates to be closed. All valuables were to be hidden and sealed in the underground vault. I divided the stored grain and dried meat into 5 portions and hid them separately in secret locations. I sent guards to the nomadic herders' homes to buy several cows and sheep that were still producing milk, just in case the children needed it. Over 10 days later, the battle indeed began at the border. The weather was freezing. I took father and the children to hide in a mountain cave. This cave was discovered by a familiar old hunter. It was spacious, secluded, sheltered from the wind, and warm. Most of the guards stayed at the city residence, leaving only a few dozen to protect us. "Master, General Li has been defending the city gate to the death these past few days, but we are vastly outnumbered. Supplies are running out. I'm afraid they won't last through tonight. The Imperial reinforcements are still on the way. I'm afraid they won't arrive in time." I narrowed my eyes and told father to look after the children. "Leave 20 men to protect father and the children. The rest of you, follow me into the city. Bring weapons, grain, and 20 bags of medicinal herbs to support General Li." The guards shouted in unison, "Yes. Be careful and come back soon." I hugged father and kissed my children. I hurried into the city with several hundred guards. Most of the people in the city were locals. They were unwilling to flee. Seeing us coming to provide support, they also flocked to the city gates to help. General Li's robe was stained with blood. Despite being over 50, his spirit was still formidable. He cupped his fists gratefully toward me. "Thank you, Brother Shen. I greatly admire the patriotism of all of you. Once we repel the invaders, I will definitely drink with all of you until we are drunk." I gave a faint smile. My guards and I followed General Li's orders. The war was far more brutal than I had imagined. Fierce fighting, smoke and fire everywhere, corpses covering the fields, and rivers of blood became the norm. At first, I was only responsible for transporting medicine and rations. Later, the casualties became more severe. My personal guards and I had to take up swords and join the battle. I had traveled the country with my father since childhood and had learned quite a bit of self-defense. Over the past few years in the Northwest, I had learned spear techniques from masters to defend against enemies. "Good job, Brother Shen. If we survive this, you and I shall become sworn brothers." "Good," I readily agreed. We struggled for another 3 days and nights. There were fewer and fewer soldiers defending the gate. Reinforcements were still hundreds of miles away. By the campfire late at night, I bandaged General Lee. He closed his eyes. Brother Shin. Do you have children? I have a son and a daughter at home. General Lee's eyes were full of envy. He mentioned that over 20 years ago, when he insisted on covering the retreat of the people, his own children all died at the hands of the Northern D. I sighed softly. A great man has ambitions everywhere. It should be so. All the people in this city are my family. I felt immense respect for him. Once we repel the enemy, I will certainly petition the court to bestow a title upon you. I was amused by him. As dawn broke, we were attacked again and again. The city gate was crumbling, and things were critical. At the crucial moment, a group of men holding torches galloped toward us, pushing the enemy back several dozen meters. Is it the reinforcements? Don't open the door yet. Beware of a trap. 2 lieutenants said the other side only had a few hundred people. They are definitely not the main reinforcements. Under no circumstances should we open the gate. Soon, though several hundred people were surrounded by the enemy. In the thick smoke, I saw the man in silver armor leading them. He fought bravely, with a cold and solemn expression. My heart suddenly tightened. It was General Qin. Quickly open the gate and go out to meet them. Brother Shin, we can't see clearly. We can't take this risk. It's General Qin, I'm sure of it. The lieutenants all tried to stop me. He intercepted the enemy attacking the city. That's why the gate hasn't been breached. How can a few hundred people fight? Beat the war drums to scare the enemy. If we charge out, they will think the reinforcements are here. They will definitely flee in panic. With that, I led my guards and rushed down to the city gate. Brother Shin, forget it. We'll risk everything today. All units hear my command. Charge out with me. The city gates were thrown open. The defenders poured out, joining forces with General Qin's troops. They fought with fury. The war drums thundered. The enemy mistook them for the Imperial main force. They immediately called for a retreat, fleeing in total chaos. Don't pursue a desperate enemy. Retreat back into the city. Amidst the chaotic firelight, General Qin's eyes and mine inevitably met. I stood there, quietly looking at him. He didn't move either. His gaze was calm and deep. I knew he recognized me, but his expression didn't change. He soon turned his horse to join General Lee. It turned out the reinforcements still needed half a day to arrive because they had lost contact with the front line for a long time. General Qin personally led elite troops to scout ahead. Seeing the city gate about to be breached, the city about to fall, and the people about to suffer, he had led his troops to charge in regardless of the cost. General Lee said with lingering fear, thanks to Brother Shin recognizing General Qin at a glance. Otherwise the consequences would have been unimaginable. General Qin glanced at me seemingly indifferently, and then changed the subject. General Lee, we had lost contact for many days since we have never met. Opening the gate blindly was indeed dangerous. Fortunately, the casualties were not high. It is a blessing for the nation. I didn't bother to pay attention. Everything he said was just because he didn't want to acknowledge my contribution. I, Shinzi Yuan, stepped forward at the moment of life and death. Already putting life and death aside, how could I be someone who covets rewards from the court? I immediately said goodbye to General Lee and left with the remaining guards. General Lee tried his best to keep me, but I only said I was going to visit my family. Only then did he agree. General Qin sat in the tent the whole time without saying a word. I didn't look back, and left directly. Father and the children were safe and sound, and in good health. There were still enemy troops outside the city, so we had to stay in the mountain cave for now. I was exhausted. I took a good hot bath and went straight to sleep. When I woke up, it was already the next day. My daughter sat next to me with a baby voice. With her little face full of unhappiness, she said, Mother, I want to go home. Is it not fun here? My son was sitting by the campfire reading a book, his eyes pleading. Mother, I want to go home too. I rubbed my daughter's head and said softly with a smile, okay, we'll go home in a couple of days. Then I discussed it with father. I was afraid the Northwest would be hard to stabilize in the short term. Now that spring has arrived, the roads will no longer be icy in half a month. I plan to donate the medicinal herbs to General Lee, then pack our belongings and return to our hometown to stay for a while. Father nodded repeatedly. I haven't been back to pay respects to the ancestors and your mother for many years. It's time to go back and take a look. 3 days later, the enemy retreated. The Imperial Army reinforced the city walls and reorganized the order in the city. People's lives gradually returned to normal. I brought my whole family back to the city. It was unusually quiet everywhere. Although I had doubts in my heart, we were just ordinary people, and it wasn't convenient to inquire too much. Over 10 days later, I set off for the military camp with several carts of medicinal herbs. There were only a few thousand troops left in the small town. The great general and General Qin had already led 100,000 troops to pursue the northern D. Those prairie wolves didn't really retreat far. They're just lurking 100 miles away, waiting for a chance to ambush. If we don't deal them a heavy blow, they'll surely come back. How many days has it been since they left? I couldn't help asking. The soldiers who had defended the city with me didn't treat me as an outsider. They told me the truth. The army has been gone for 10 days. I cupped my fists and said, recently, I've been planning to go south. Please tell the great general. Before I could finish my sentence, panic-stricken cries for help came from outside. This is bad. General Qin is seriously injured. Quickly, call the military doctor. A lieutenant nearby hurriedly went out to meet them. Voices cried out in alarm. The military doctors have all gone with the army. Where is the general now? The man pointed outside the city, gasping for breath. The general's injuries are too severe. The army doctors are helpless. They ordered him to be sent back immediately for medicine to save his life. I chased after him and grabbed the man. Where is the general? I have life-saving medicine, and the best doctor. A moment later, I saw General Qin unconscious in the carriage. He was covered in blood. An arrow was lodged near his heart, and blood was still gushing out. His personal guard, Wang Ben, said with red eyes. The army doctor said the battlefield environment is harsh. If we pull out the arrow now, he might die on the spot. If there is good medicine in the city, there might still be a chance. I immediately gave orders. Carefully carry him into the room. The doctor will be here soon. And the medicine will be delivered right away. Seeing that I had the miraculous medicine, Wang Ben saw me as his last hope in his panic. He knelt on the ground and begged me to save General Qin. I had seen him at the general's residence before, but he was so flustered now that he didn't recognize me in my men's clothing. I helped him up and ordered him to quickly fetch warm water. The guard soon delivered the necessary items. I removed General Qin's armor and robe and changed him into clean clothes. The doctor said hesitantly, the general is unconscious. The arrow must be removed and the bleeding stopped immediately. Master, give him the snow lotus first. But his teeth are clenched tight. If it can be chewed and swallowed, it will work even better. Without another word, I put the petals into my mouth, chewed them up, and fed them to him. I patted his cheek and whispered, Qin Shu. Swallow it. Swallow it. He still had a trace of consciousness and instinctively swallowed the medicine in his mouth. The doctor breathed a sigh of relief. He pulled the arrow out decisively and used top-quality medicine to stop the bleeding. Don't worry, master. With the snow lotus protecting his heart, the general should be able to save his life. I leaned against the bed as if exhausted. Looking at his face, which was as pale as paper, I ordered my guards to bring the blood-tonifying pills that I had been keeping for years. I had been in the medicine business for several years and had collected countless rare and precious medicines. I wasn't stingy at all now. As long as they're useful, use them all on him. The doctor felt very bad about it. He whispered to me, Master, even the nobles in the palace might not be willing to use them like this. Wang Ben was extremely grateful to me. He even kowtowed to thank me. Boss Shen, I have a bold question. You look very familiar. You look exactly like an old friend of the general's. I smiled helplessly and made an excuse to send him away with the miraculous medicine and rare herbs keeping him alive. General Qin woke up 2 days later. He looked at me quietly. I avoided his gaze, cleared my throat, and stepped back. Since the general has woken up, he should be fine now. The doctor is waiting outside. I'll take my leave now. Why must you do this? General Qin called out to me weakly. Since you care so much about me, why have you been hiding from me all these years? I managed a smile. General, there's a huge gap in our status. Why force it? I'm free-spirited by nature. I don't seek forever. I only care that we once had something. I'm not greedy. This is enough. Humph. General Qin stared at me fixedly. He gritted his teeth and said, back then, I stood my ground for you. I even knelt before the emperor to beg for a position for you, as proof of my devotion. But you didn't care at all. You just walked away. You even faked a pirate attack to disappear. You were carefree. But do you know how heartbroken I was? Do you know the pain of my broken heart? My eyes unwittingly filled with tears, but I still forced a smile. General, there's no need for this. I was born to be free. I couldn't get used to the rules of an official's residence. Even more so, I couldn't share a husband with others. Since we aren't meant to be husband and wife for life, being fleeting lovers wouldn't be so bad. General Qin looked at me hatefully. Is that what you really think? I nodded. The room was silent. Only our shallow breaths could be heard. After a long time, he reached out his long, strong hand, gave a soft sigh, and said in a low voice, come here. I stepped forward and held him down. Don't move. Be careful not to pull on your wound. General Qin looked at me without blinking. Yuan, don't go. Let me look at you a little longer, okay? Over the years, I've fought bandits and enemies everywhere. I've had dozens of injuries, large and small, and I'm used to it. But only this time was close to death. When the arrow struck. At that moment, I suddenly regretted it. I regretted not stopping you the other day. And not hugging you again. Tears streamed down my face. I leaned over and snuggled into his arms. The general fumbled to find my hand and held it tightly. Yuan, just have pity on me. And stay with me for a few days, okay? I gave a low sigh. And finally nodded. Over the next few days, under the care of the doctor and me, General Qin recovered very quickly, but his life had been snatched back from the brink of death after all. Inevitably, there would be lasting effects. The doctor warned him. The general's heart was scratched by the arrow. It's already a blessing to be able to save him. From now on, he must not use internal energy, otherwise his heart will rupture and his life will be in danger. The general must keep this in mind. General Qin frowned. Is it forever, or just for 10 or 20 years? The doctor said, it's absolutely impossible in the short term. It will depend on how he recovers in the future. Occasional exertion might not be fatal, but he must never take risks. Standard exertion is fine, otherwise he'll be walking on the edge of a cliff. Although General Qin was disappointed, he was quickly at peace with it. It was already not easy to get his life back, so he didn't dare to ask for too much. I said with a smile, General Li has won a great victory. The army is returning to the capital. The world is at peace for now. It's good for you to be an idle general in the future. General Qin squeezed my hand. He said, when poor, one should improve one's own character. When successful, one should benefit the whole world. Fortunately, I have already done my duty for the country and the people. I haven't failed the cultivation and trust of the emperor. I hugged him, feeling sorry for him. He responded with a gentle hug. A month later, General Qin left 50,000 troops to guard the border city and returned to the capital with General Li to report. He held my hand tightly. Where are you going next? When I'm done, I'll go look for you. I thought about it. I plan to return to my hometown in Jiangxia. The old house is near the ferry crossing. He smiled and nodded excitedly. I know that place. I'll definitely find you. But I didn't dare to promise. He lowered his voice. Yuan, I'm not the same person I was back then. Now I have the confidence to speak to the emperor. Whether it works or not, I will look for you. Yuan, I'm not young anymore. I want you to have a child for me who looks like you. At the mention of children, I became aware after the fact. I realized something. My period was over half a month late. I panicked instantly and hurriedly waved him off. I'll go back and pack my things. You and General Li return to the capital first. Father and I are going back to Jiangxia. General Qin eventually left. He promised to meet me in Jiangxia in a month. Since I hadn't returned for a long time, Father had already sent people to urge me several times. As soon as I got home, he started nagging. You said you'd be back soon. But you were gone for 2 months. You don't earn money, you don't take care of the kids, you just dump everything on me. I must have been your servant in my past life. I'm pregnant again. I interrupted him. Father's eyes instantly widened. He didn't snap out of it for a long time. What? Pregnant? Pregnant with what? I patted my stomach. I said, I'm pregnant with my third. Father's expression changed instantly. He scurried over, carefully helping me sit down. Good daughter. Is it true? Have you seen a doctor? I sighed. I saw one. It's been over a month. Father glared at me. It's a joyful thing to be pregnant. Why are you sighing? Air Bao is already 2 years old. It's about time to have another one. Our family line is thin. Having more children is a great blessing. I touched my forehead. If the father found out, I don't know how he'd react. Father said in shock, Is it, again? Is it that Qin kid from last time? I asked back, who else could it be? Who else would it be but him? Father's gaze flickered. Yuan, you're being too much. It's one thing to trick him once or twice, but to trick him a third time? I'm starting to feel a bit sorry for that boy. I rolled my eyes at him and decided to tell him everything about General Qin. I told him Qin said he'd come to Jiangxia to find us when he's done. Father was lightheaded after hearing it. I quickly helped him sit down. Father, are you okay? Don't scare me. Father was panting, blinking his eyes. It's not me scaring you, it's you scaring me. Of all the people to pick, why did you set your sights on someone so noble? Tricking him once is one thing, but you keep tricking the same person 3 times. Aren't you just asking for trouble? I felt wronged. If he were a young master from an ordinary family, I would have brought him home long ago. But he really does suit my heart. No. Father shook his head repeatedly. Our Shin family never deals with the nobility. It's not like you don't know that. I shrugged. I know, but I can't help it that he likes me. And I like him too. How can you tell? Father frowned. I whispered, he resisted an imperial marriage for me. He sought punishment and got himself covered in wounds. He still has the scars to this day. He thought I died at the hands of pirates. For over 3 years, he fought bandits everywhere, never returning to the capital. Later, he found out I was in the northwest and specifically requested to come here to fight the enemy. He almost lost his life. Father, he is sincere towards me. Father heard this and sighed deeply. Sincerity is one thing, but can he be devoted only to you? You've been used to freedom since you were a child. You're an eagle soaring in the sky. Unless you lose your nature, you can't be caged. I was stunned. Father sighed again. Although we have money, in the eyes of the nobility, we are ultimately just a merchant family. The status gap is too large. A gap that large will only lead to you being looked down upon. Father didn't say more. He turned and told Chen Chao to stew some bird's nest for me, then went to accompany his grandson. Perhaps due to my mood, Or perhaps this pregnancy was particularly difficult. I felt nauseous and dizzy. I was sleepy all day. After taking the medicine the doctor prescribed, the morning sickness eased a bit, but I still felt very low energy. I was either sleeping or staring out the window in a daze. My son and daughter were very sweet. They sang to cheer me up and drew a cute little picture. In the picture, I looked tired, but my belly was bulging high. I smiled slightly and asked Chen Chao, "Don't you think this belly is much bigger than at 3 months before?" "Yes," Chen Chao nodded. "Perhaps it's a chubbier little master." Father was worried. "You aren't eating or sleeping well. Yet your belly is getting bigger and bigger. I hope nothing is wrong with the child." Chen Chao quickly went to fetch the doctor. The doctor checked my pulse and smiled. "My lady, this pregnancy is likely twins." "Really?" Father was pleasantly surprised. "Are you sure?" the doctor said with certainty. "I am 90% sure. If you are worried, come back next month for another checkup." I shook my head happily. "No need. I trust your medical skills. Just relax your mind. Don't worry too much. Otherwise it will harm both you and the babies." I nodded gently. "Good daughter, whatever you want, let it be. As long as you are well, I will have no regrets." I smiled and held his chubby arm. "Father, if I really take the children to find him, I'll only be laughed at by the high officials. They'll say I'm loose, having no status, and getting pregnant out of wedlock. The 4 children will also be seen as illegitimate. They wouldn't even count as part of the family line. How could they be well?" I liked Qin Shu, but my head was still clear and not blinded by love. Father touched my head sympathetically. "Then what do you plan to do? Find another place to hide?" "I won't hide," I said softly. "If he has the heart, he'll find me even at the ends of the earth. I might never be able to stand beside him in my life. This time, I'm not hiding. I'll just leave the difficult problem to him." So I called my son over, had him add himself and his sister to the little drawing, and sign it at the bottom. The next morning, I rolled the small drawing into a tight tube, tied it to a carrier pigeon, and sent it to the capital. I asked the shopkeeper there to deliver it to the general's residence. 20 days later, I received a reply from the shopkeeper. He said the letter was hand-delivered to the general's steward. General Qin, who was originally at court, immediately left the palace upon hearing the news. He went to the merchant guild to ask about the meaning of the drawing. The shopkeeper didn't understand at first either, until he saw the signature, then explained it was drawn by my eldest son. He said General Qin went silent for a moment, then left in a huff. Chen Chao was worried. "Miss, what if General Qin thinks the young master and Miss are children you had with someone else? What would we do then?" "Then there's nothing I can do," I said flatly. "If he doesn't even have this much trust, then he isn't a good man." After another 10 days or so, an express letter was delivered to my hand. The handwriting was powerful and firm, with a hint of anger hidden in its free style. The few words on the paper made my heart skip a beat. "Mother, why are you so nervous? Your father, who returned from the dead, wants to settle the score with me." My eldest son was now 8 years old. He was no longer at an age to be easily fooled, ever since he had a sister. Plus I was now pregnant with twins. He was always asking who their father was. I had no choice but to tell him the truth, that the commander who recently led the Yuan army to victory was his biological father. The young boy immediately saw General Qin as a great hero. Every few days he'd ask when father was coming back, if it would be soon. "Are those curses written on the letter? Why did father say you lied to him?" "No, he's saying don't rush him. He'll come find us as soon as he's finished." My son laughed excitedly and ran outside. "Little sister, father is coming back soon. Father said he'd come find us as soon as he's done." Looking at my son's happy figure, my eyes unknowingly turned red. So, deep down, the children really longed for a father. By this time, I was over 5 months pregnant. My belly was abnormally large. The northwest winter was too bitter and cold. It was bad for both my health and the delivery. To be safe, we decided to travel by land and then by water back to Jiangxia. It happened to be early autumn, and the weather was suitable for traveling. The twins were stable, so we set off. Before our bags were even fully packed, General Li came to visit with a smile. He had been promoted to a marquis, and the soldiers under him also received rewards. "Boss Shen, you, a heroine among women, also have a reward. His Majesty heard about your deeds and praised them highly. He has specially titled you as a county lady, calling on all women in the world to follow your example." I was quite surprised. Marquis Li cupped his hands and said with a smile, "Congratulations, county lady. Already a month ago, His Majesty issued a decree to grant you the Jiangxia Imperial Villa. It has been renamed the County Lady Residence. He also rewarded you with 1,000 taels of gold and over a dozen carts of treasures and silk. They have already been shipped together to your residence." "I only did a little bit," I don't deserve this. You saved General Qin's life. You well deserve it. His Majesty said you are a benefactor of the court. That's why he gave you such an honor. This is what you deserve. I secretly wondered in my heart, could this be Qin Shu's arrangement? But I didn't show it on my face. I only said we were packing our things to head south. Marquis Li was very reluctant to see us go. He told us to visit often in the future, and promised to visit the county lady residence. I readily agreed. Before we left, Marquis Li stuffed an envelope into my hand. He said in a low voice, General Qin's instructions. Be sure to open it yourself. I nodded calmly. But I was secretly curious. The letter was still brief. Only one sentence. Take care of your health and the children. Don't believe the rumors. Although I didn't understand, I still put it away carefully and took my daughter out for a walk. 3 days later, I left behind my assistants and the shopkeeper to continue managing the medicinal herb business. The group headed south in a grand procession. There were old people and children in the carriage, and I was heavily pregnant. The journey was slow. Marquis Li sent people to escort us the whole way until we boarded the ship. Then the soldiers took their leave. I had Chen Chao reward each person with 10 taels of silver. I personally thanked them and saw them off at the bow. Only then did I order the ship to set sail downstream. The boat sailed smoothly and swiftly, but we were also almost isolated from the outside world. More than 10 days later, the boat reached Dongting Lake. It happened to be the Mid-Autumn Festival. Both banks were decorated with lanterns. The scent of osmanthus was everywhere. The two children were delighted and clamored to go ashore and play. Father and Chen Chao each took one ashore. I didn't dare to go to a crowded place. So I sat in the pavilion by the shore to watch the moon and eat cakes. Pedestrians on the road were weaving in and out. Laughter and conversation were constant. Young women beside me were releasing lanterns and chatting quietly. The year before last, and last year too, I wished to marry a man like General Qin. You still haven't changed that wish? Change it for what? Although General Qin is gone, his looks were unparalleled in the world. I want to hear about this version. Even half of it would be fine. You're truly obsessed. The mooncake in my hand dropped to the ground with a thud. I was instantly in a panic. Seeing this, the guards immediately came forward with concern to ask what happened. My heart was in a mess. My mind went blank. I almost couldn't catch my breath. Go find out what exactly happened to General Qin. Xiaohe and the guard saw my face was pale and hurriedly helped me back to the boat. They also quickly called for a doctor. County lady, you must have had a great scare. You must stay calm. The babies can't handle such emotional fluctuations. I was panting heavily, anxiously asking, is he back? Did you get any news? Xiaohe was stomping her feet in worry. My good lady, what kind of storms haven't you seen? How could you be scared like this? I heard someone say he. Xiaohe fanned me while trying to persuade me. There are many rumors on the street. Why take them seriously? Before she could finish her sentence, Qin Shu's words about don't believe rumors suddenly flashed in my mind. At that moment, my heart settled down. My breathing also gradually became smooth. The doctor quickly prepared medicine to stabilize the pregnancy. After taking it, I lay on the bed, looking at the lake and the moonlight outside the window. The guard came back to report. Recently, there were indeed rumors in the capital about General Qin's death. It was hard to tell truth from fiction. Last month, the Empress Dowager passed away. The court was in mourning for 7 days. Civil and military officials escorted the coffin to the imperial mausoleum. Someone said General Qin fainted on the way. It was due to excessive grief triggering an old illness. He became bedridden. A few days later, the general's residence held a funeral. I waved my hand. The truth of this matter is unknown. Don't let rumors spread, and especially don't let the young master and miss know. After the Mid-Autumn Festival, the boat continued on its way. 3 days later, we safely docked. There were already government troops waiting at the shore to welcome us to the county lady residence. We got off the boat and into a carriage. In just the time it takes to burn an incense stick, we arrived at the grand and elegant county lady residence. This place was originally a converted imperial villa, carved beams and painted rafters. It was beautiful and magnificent. The two children were running around, full of wonder. Father wiped his tears excitedly. The Shin family has been in business for generations, and finally, we can hold our heads high in my generation. We no longer have to look at the government's face or swallow our pride. But I was absent-minded, secretly wondering to myself, what exactly happened to Qin Shu? Such a generous reward from the court. Could it be a secret arrangement? Suddenly, my eldest son cried out, "Father!" I turned around quickly. A tall and handsome figure slowly stepped out. His figure was upright, wearing a light green casual robe. He looked as gentle as a painting. My eldest son ran over, but stopped as he got close. He stared at him, and then respectfully bowed. Are you really my father? Mother said you are a great hero who fights bad guys. Others said if I meet someone who looks just like me, then he is my father. Qin Shu looked emotional. He looked at his son carefully, then knelt down. My little daughter also ran over. She was even bolder than her brother, and threw herself directly into his arms. I know your father. Father is so handsome. Qin Shu was overjoyed. He opened his arms and held both children tightly. Father looked at him, then at me. With a slightly awkward smile, Qin Shu let go of the children, and bowed respectfully to father. Father-in-law. Please accept my bow. Father was so scared he shook his head repeatedly. This won't do. You're a general, father-in-law. I'm no longer a general. I am only Qin Shu, your son-in-law, and the father of these children. Father was stunned. It turned out that after Qin Shu and General Li returned to the capital, His Majesty was going to reward him handsomely, but he again requested an imperial marriage. He wanted to marry me as his wife. His Majesty was conflicted, and the Empress Dowager also refused. She said I came from a merchant family and had a low status. She ordered him to marry a girl from a famous family as his primary wife, and only allowed me to be a concubine. Qin Shu flatly refused. At this time, Marquis Li reported to the court about how I provided food and medicine, and led the people to defend the city. Everyone praised me. His Majesty wanted to reward me, but didn't know in what name for a while, so he took the initiative to resign, saying his heart was damaged, and he could no longer use internal energy, so he couldn't lead the army for the court anymore. He asked His Majesty to take back his military power. His Majesty asked him what his wish was. He only said he wanted to spend his life with me, making the world his home, and staying away from the capital. His Majesty was both angry and touched, but there was nothing he could do. Soon after, the Empress Dowager fell ill and passed away. Qin Shu received the little drawing from his son. He was surprised, happy, and angry all at once. He went to find the merchant guild's manager to ask about it, only to find out that I had already given birth to a son overseas, and named him Shen Muqin. After leaving Beijing, I gave birth to a daughter in the northwest. He took the drawing to the palace, knelt before the emperor, and admitted that after wandering for years, he had long since lost interest in fame and fortune. He only wanted to be with the one he loved, raise children, and live a simple life. His Majesty learned the whole story, and also felt sorry for this distinguished general. When meeting a woman who was so proud, who would rather raise her children alone than be a concubine, he finally softened his heart. His Majesty secretly agreed. After the Empress Dowager's funeral, he would arrange a proper path for him. When the Empress Dowager passed away, Qin Shu was overwhelmed with grief, which triggered his old heart injury. He fainted near the imperial mausoleum. His Majesty saw his scars, and in the end, he couldn't bear it. He agreed to let him resign and leave the capital to follow his lover and his life. So His Majesty gave me a reward, granting me the status of county lady and the imperial villa. At the same time, news of General Qin's early death spread in the capital. Because of the Empress Dowager's mourning, no marriage was set, and everything for the funeral was simplified. The next day, Qin Shu took his trusted aides and quietly left the capital. He traveled all the way south. Before we arrived, he had already arranged the county lady residence. Father's eyes were red. He nodded repeatedly. Good son-in-law. Good son-in-law. Our family is finally together. Qin Shu held a child in each hand. From now on, the whole family is together and will never be apart again. I supported my big belly, watching them happily together. Instead, I was left out on the side, and ignored. Over the next few days, father and the children hovered around Qin Shu all day. But he didn't even give me a single look. I tried to squeeze in a few times, but was completely ignored. It wasn't until late at night, when the children were all asleep, that Qin Shu only cared about looking through the children's schoolwork, only giving me his back. I was secretly depressed. Suddenly, the babies in my belly started to act up. My belly was bulging in waves. I had an idea. I held my belly and cried out in a low voice, ouch, ouch. What's wrong? What's wrong with the babies? He was so scared he became incoherent and rushed over. Seeing him flustered, I didn't dare to go too far. I only frowned and pretended to be in pain. They're acting up again. Qin Shu tentatively put his hand on my belly. Soon, he was surprised and hesitant. Are they fighting? It's so intense. They act up every few hours. No matter how I sleep at night, I'm uncomfortable. I'm always sleepy but I can't sleep. Qin Shu was distressed and helpless. He gave me a glare. It's all your fault. I puffed out my lips, and my eyes turned red. It's my fault. I shouldn't have lied to you. But think about it. Has it been easy for me to raise children alone, and travel around to do business? If you could have married me long ago, why would the children and I have been so alone for all these years? Qin Shu was left speechless by my words. He pulled me into his arms. It's my fault. It's my incompetence. It's my negligence. I didn't expect you to be so bold. How do you manage to get your way every time? The children aren't mine alone. I carried them for 10 months. I risked my life to give birth to them, yet every one of them looks like they were carved from the same mold as you. Not a single one looks like me. I raised them with such effort, yet you just come and take them as they are. I stole your seed. But I'm the one who gave birth and raised them, and yet you blame me. Qin Shu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He let me throw my little tantrum. The way you put it, everything becomes my fault. Fine, I can't win an argument with you. I'll do whatever you want. I wrapped my arms around his neck and whispered, are you still mad at me? Qin Shu snorted through his nose. How would I dare, he said, claiming he'd get it back with interest. But I can neither hit nor scold you. Forget it. You'll just have to give me a few more children. More? My head hurts just hearing that. I pointed at my belly. There are 2 in here already. If I have any more, I'll turn into an old sow. Qin Shu's eyes widened in surprise. It's really twins? Yes, and it's been exhausting. Qin Shu immediately began doting on me with the utmost care. He helped me lie down and propped me up with soft pillows. Then he carefully massaged my shoulders and legs. Watching him busily tend to me, I couldn't help but smile. This guy is so easy to trick. I'm going to keep tricking him for the rest of our lives. 4 months later, I safely gave birth to a pair of twins, a boy and a girl. Chinshu was overjoyed. Holding one in each arm, he couldn't get enough of them. I, on the other hand, was quite frustrated. Why did none of them look like me again? Their eyes and brows are exactly like yours. Chen Chao comforted me from the side. It's better that they resemble the general. The general is more good-looking than you. It's okay. You can have more children in the future. The ones that look like you will eventually come. I sighed. You're very good at comforting people. Don't do it next time. Qin Shu burst into laughter. My eldest son and daughter took my surname, Shen. The twins took his surname, Qin. I couldn't help but ask, are you not even going to hide your surname? Qin Shu smiled faintly. The surname Qin is just right now. No matter how noble a status is, it's nothing compared to the family being together. I beamed with joy. From then on, Qin Shu and I lived a peaceful and leisurely life. We raised our 4 children amidst laughter and joy every day. We often left the kids with my father and sneaked out together to travel and enjoy the scenery. The business continued to run, but our family's wealth was already substantial. Combined with the properties and wealth Qin Shu had accumulated over the years, it was enough to make us the wealthiest in the region. 3 years later, Qin Shu and I took our children to the capital to celebrate the emperor's birthday. To avoid unwanted attention, His Majesty specially received us at the suburban imperial villa. His Majesty was very fond of the bright and spirited children. He praised me for raising them so well and rewarded us with countless treasures and properties. He looked at the high-spirited Qin Shu and said kindly, County Lady Shen, you are quite capable. In all the world, you are the only one who could spirit away my most capable general. Only you. Qin Shu and I looked at each other and smiled. That night, we were enjoying the cool breeze at the waterside pavilion. Looking at the shimmering lake, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Qin Shu was puzzled. What are you laughing at? I raised my eyebrows. Many years ago, father was angry that I was so picky about suitors. He asked me, do you want to marry an immortal from the heavens or a dragon prince from the water? Qin Shu was intrigued. How did you answer him? I pointed at the lake and said, immortals are too far away. Better to marry the dragon prince in the water. Who would have thought that as soon as I turned around, I'd see you floating on the water? Qin Shu laughed heartily. I laughed too, and held his hand tightly. Our fingers interlocked.